Okay. A very good evening to everyone present with us today. We are streaming live from Startup Incubation and Innovation Center, IIT Kanpur. Thank you for joining us this webinar titled on the go-to-market strategies for circular economy startups. I am delighted to have the opportunity to host and discuss the incredibly important and timely topic that is revolutionizing the business landscape, the circular economy. Today, we have our esteemed mentor of SIIC, Mr. Devdatta Mishra, who will help us to understand the solutions for this topic deeper. Mr. Mishra holds an expertise in working across renewable energy, power metals, chemical sectors for business development, business excellence, consulting, supply chain management, and driving digitalization. Currently, he is working as an AVP for corporate strategies at Praj Industries. Praj Industries concentrates on accelerating energy transition as a sustainable climate action. Today, I have my colleague, Dr. Riddhi Mansaria, also as a panelist for the webinar. Dr. Riddhi is leading our green tech, clean tech, social tech vertical at our incubator. Riddhi has a doctorate degree in environmental sciences. She has an experience of working with startup as a research lead, and she is now serving the same purpose at incubator level. Firstly, I would like to request Dr. Riddhi to please address our audience with the need of today's topic.
Good evening. Thank you, Vatsala, for the nice introduction. So I'd just like to say a few words. It's just like as the team lead of the Clean Tech, Green Tech vertical at SIIC IIT Kanpur, I'd like to mention that we have a really wide range of startups in varied domains, like waste management and processing, water management, air quality management, upcycling of waste, app-based waste collectors and segregators, alternate energy generations, etc., all encompassing the wide domain of circular economy. Some of our most successful startups like Fool, Prism in the clean tech area, and Noka, eSpin Nanotech in the medtech areas marketed their products and shared their stories in such a way that it created a very powerful impact on the minds of the consumers, and their revenue and popularity reached new heights. However, I feel, and as I think most of would agree, that most of the startups often lack in their go-to-market strategy due to several reasons. They may have an inadequate market research done by their team or themselves, which misalign with the customer needs. Similarly, a poorly defined value proposition strategy, not understanding the product market fit, can hinder their customer acquisition as well. Ineffective marketing, messaging, and limited investment in those sales and revenue distribution areas also make their brand awareness lower. So to overlook this scalability considerations and failing to incorporate customer feedback into their products also hampers their growth potential. So to overcome these challenges, I think this webinar will be a very important step towards making them aware of what is going on in this area and how they can improve and take their products and services forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Riddhi. And I absolutely agree with you that circular economy startups are at the forefront of this transition, disrupting the traditional industry methods and introducing innovative solutions that will align profitability with sustainability also. So today, we will explore go-to-market strategies that should be employed by startups to bring their circular economy solutions to the market successfully. And now I would like to request an active participation from the audience via questions. You may please raise your hand if you want to speak or type your questions in the chat box at whichever time you want. We will take up the questions. Now coming to Devadatta sir. Sir, I invite you to kindly begin the session now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vatsala, for a nice setting of the context and introduction. Thank you, Riddhi. And a very good afternoon to all of the participants who are listening right now. So before I start, if you can just upload the presentation. Like Vatsala said, currently I am heading AVP of Corporate Strategy in Praj Industries. And for last 7-8 years, I have been working in this field predominantly in bioeconomy space, renewable fuels, chemicals, and materials. Today, I am very happy to talk about this topic, which is very close to my heart, on go-to-market strategies for circular economy startups. Just go to next slide, please. In terms of today's agenda, I thought let us explore a little bit of what is sustainability and circular economy, and then we'll deep dive into what exactly is the go-to-market strategies and what we can do. And of course, at the end, we can take up the questions and answers. Next slide, please. So to start with, the entire topic comes, the starting point is sustainability. And I know, and sustainability is such a big buzzword today, and everybody will have his own definition. But one thing that drives me, I think this is one concept that really drives me. And I think I wanted to start with this concept. And to share this global human sustainability concept, I would like to explain you this chart. I don't know whether you know this chart or not. So this has two axes. The x-axis talks about Human Development Index, which is nothing but in countries education, health, and your lifestyle. So you will find countries plotted against this chart, and you will find some African countries on the left side and some developed countries on the right side. And the y-axis is the ecological footprint. So ecological footprint is nothing but you can say that to take care of current human activity, how much natural capital is required. When you say natural capital, it is about how much land, water, and resources are required. So which means the higher the amount of activity and progress that we are going, industrialization and all those things, higher resources per person or per capita is required. So here you will see all the dots are represented as the countries. And the blue dots are, you will see on the right side, are the high developed countries. But obviously, you will also see the developed countries also have higher ecological footprint. And the whole sustainability focus is to bring all these countries towards the bottom right corner. If you see, this corner represents higher Human Development Index, at the same time lower ecological footprint index. So this is the quarter or quadrant, we call it sustainability quadrant. We need to bring all these countries toward this place. So this is the whole sustainability in a macro or broad sense. And this is very, very important. Now, having understood this, let's go to next to understand. Go to next slide, please. Sorry. Now, this sustainability, once we see that this is a very big topic and we need to go there, there are many things we need to achieve. And this is like a jigsaw puzzle. And circular economy is one of the answers to the big puzzle. And there are many things that have to be done in terms of climate change, sustainable agriculture, social sustainability, even sustainable energy. All these things has to be done to drive us towards the goal of our sustainability. But in this, circular economy plays a very big role. And I'll discuss about it later. But if you see, obviously, the rich and the developed economy has a higher responsibility to drive this sustainability. That is, but sure, you can see the left-hand side chart. Now, let's go to what is circular economy. Just go to next slide, please. And I often find that when any reference to circular economy, people think about, let's say, biofuels or biodegradable materials, waste and all. But I find this concept really very interesting, and I would like to talk about it. See, it talks about, take any material or any product or component. So we need to maximize its value, its useful life throughout its production, use, and transportation, end use, etc. But at the same time, we need to minimize the emission, waste, and pollution. So that is in nutshell the entire circular economy. So it focuses on flow of material and energy. When you talk about circular economy, we are thinking in terms of materials and energy. And in the entire life cycle, we are trying to minimize the emission, waste, and pollution. So this is very broad umbrella or definition kind of a thing for a circular economy. And if you put this concept, you will find everything that we do will fall under this in a way, matter of speaking. And in this space also, if you look at food, mobility, energy using households, and construction, these space contribute at least 75% of entire global life cycle environmental impact. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say to start the context. And then let's dive now, having understood what is the space of circular economy, let's look at what is the strategy when we are in this place doing some kind of business, doing startup, then what we need to look at. Now, this is also a very interesting concept. There are two figures here. Left-hand side is a concept called surplus strategies, or we can think about circular principles. So I find it a little interesting. So I thought of putting it here. And on the right side, you will see that as a startup, as a company, as an innovator, how you look at your business, how you go to market with your business. So in terms of your market, when you look at your business strategy, you look at three things. One, how you want to design your product, position your product. Second, how you want to design a strategy in terms of business model. And third is how you play in the ecosystem. So these are the building blocks of your go-to-market strategy. And now let us look at what are the circular strategy that is available to us. Okay, so these are 5 circular strategy: narrow, slow, close, regenerate, and inform. I'll come one by one. So when you're saying narrow, it means use less. So it's a concept where we're talking about whenever you are designing a product, think of how you can use less material and energy. Similarly, when you apply this principle to business model, think of in your business model how you can reduce material and energy. Same thing applies to ecosystem. When you are developing ecosystem, same principle can be applied. Next principle is slow, means use your products and components longer. How can you increase the life cycle of these products? What will happen by that? It will happen. So you will use lesser number of components in your lifespan. So the impact on the economy or the ecosystem will reduce. So how can you use this principle in a product? So again, you want to think about this principle. Let me give you an example. Suppose you want to build a car I'm just taking car as an example, but it can be used to anything that you can make. For example, suppose you are thinking of making a car as your startup or your business. So narrow principle means how you can design a product using less material and energy. Can you think of reducing the weight of the car? I'm just giving an example. Any reduction in weight or material indirectly will help your circularity goals. Similarly, can this principle be used in business model and ecosystem? Yes, it can be used. For example, if you say my business model is where I can use a pay-for-use model, then people will use less. And if your ecosystem you're building on a sharing platform basis, then people will use sharing modes and they'll consume less of the goods or car. So that's how this principle is used, and your strategy is getting formed when you are designing the entire product, business model, and ecosystem strategy. Same thing also you can use the slow principle, which means how you can make this product last longer. For example, when you are applying to the product principle, you can think of how I can make this a rugged product, or how can I use a material which will last long. When you are using in a business model principle, you can see that can I have some maintenance or good maintenance practices built into the system. As an ecosystem also, you can look at, can I have such ecosystem where you can replace or use the parts. Standardization also you can use in the product principle. Like this, the third is the close, or how you can use the same thing again. This is nothing but your recycle and reuse concept. And this obviously you can practice using in your product, business model, and ecosystem. And the fourth concept in the circular strategy is using renewable material and energy. This is very obvious. So when you are designing a product, think about how you can utilize renewable material and energy. Same thing goes with business model and ecosystem. In the next slide, I'll focus more on business model and give some of the examples to discuss more and understand more. But you can also apply this into product and ecosystem as a whole. And the last circular principle is inform or use data. And today, if you see, you can use a lot of data, and you can use this data to modify your product or better your business model and ecosystem. We'll go through some of the example in the next slide. But these 5 key principles, when applied to these 3 strategy, like product strategy, business model strategy, and ecosystem strategy, will give a very, very holistic picture of circular economy. And when you are designing with all this principle in picture, you will see that you have done justice to the entire circular economy principles. Just go to next slide, please. Here, I wanted to just focus on business model concept, because I think this is what maybe you will be more interested in. And now let us look at these 5 principles, like I said: narrow, slow, close, regenerate, and inform, and try to apply into the business model context. In the narrow, where we are saying use less, so what are the different principles or different use case that can come? So one use case can be, can you think of something where you are enabling or incentivizing users to consume less? Think of something like pay for use model. My Bike is an example in Indian startup they have done, but it can be in many other aspects also. So what it is doing, it is incentivizing user to use this instead of aggregating or every user having their own assets in place. So we are narrowing or using less assets or products. Second example could be, think about having organized transport system of lightweight urban transport system. I am taking the rail as an example, but in Indian context also, you'll find many startups who have now started designing this concept, where they are saying, gone are those days where you are, for every transport application, you have a dedicated design, bulky design. Instead of that, can you design something which will be applicable in minor tweaking? We can have multiple uses, but again, very lightweight. So that means you are using lesser material to address multiple problems or multiple applications. Similarly, another example is if you want to localize your supply chain. So by that, what you are doing, you are reducing the footprint of logistics. You are, lesser logistic footprint. So that will also create better circular economy. So example is Digin is one company doing in food supply chain space. So these are some of the principles on narrow. Now looking at a slow, where we are saying, can we use something for a longer duration? Some of the examples or some of the principles within this, you can see, can we think of repurpose something? Repurpose the existing product. Meaning, example is I have taken is EV Tri-City, but what they have done is all the lamp posts which are existing, assets we see in the street, they have converted into the EV charging station, which is nothing but repurposing the same product existing earlier. Can I repurpose into some different application instead of making a new product? By that, I am reducing stress on the entire circular economy. So that is one. Can you think of repurposing? Second, product as a service. This also reduces ownership on product, and this also help better maintenance, because whoever is owning this now does better maintenance so that your product life cycle increases. Overall, less stress on the entire economy, circular economy. There are many examples. You think about AC as a service or steam power as a service, a lot of them. Similarly, I have seen one example where think of giving a repair service as a free. An interesting example is a Nadi Jeans. They produce organic denim jeans, but they don't stop at production or producing an organic product. What they do is they also, from a business model perspective, they say how I can also provide a repair service in my, where I'm selling at the selling point, I'm also providing a repair service so that my customers will be able to use this product for a very long time. And by that, what they're doing, they're achieving the circular economy principle or benefits. So that's how they have created a business model, also helping them in that achieving that sense. Similarly, other one is close. It is nothing but reuse and recycle. You can think about how we can reuse and same material again and again for the same product. Or you can think of how I can create a business model by which there is automatic return, product return is inbuilt into the system. I find Tea Mill is a good example. They make textile products worldwide, and this is open to all. If the product is worn out, you just replace to us. We'll give some credit, and the point will be credited, and you will buy new products. So what they are doing is not only they make organic product, but they make this business model also circular. And this combination is really very sticky. And go to the next principle, regenerate. This is all about using renewable energy and materials. Here, if you are a startup which you are using energy, then obviously your process energy or power that you are using, can you use renewable energy? Or if you are into the transportation sector, can you think of using renewable energy? Some of the examples like electric refrigeration as a solution, last mile solution. Foodlogica, I find a good example there. Even you are using a product, can you use renewable energy in your products? I find Waka is a very good example. All their products use solar as a renewable energy built into the system. They make various products, and every product they use, they built in solar as a renewable energy. That's a very good example. And last, circularity principle is to use data and analytics. So here you might think about how you can use this data that comes with the usage of the product, and then with that data inside, how we can enrich or increase the efficiency of the product and services. You can imagine, suppose you are into a car business, you have made an engine, and you have all the data coming from that engine, and based on that data, you are refining the engine. So similarly, you think about your own product and how you can get data, usage data, and then how you can use that data to improve the circularity of these products. Similarly, I find another good example in Philips. They use this data to give light as a service. So initially, the product they launched, they first track all their products and get their data, usage data, and based on that usage data, they create their business model on lighting as a service. So these are some of the examples of using these 5 core principles and how you can marry these core principles into your go-to-market strategy or overall strategy as a whole when you are designing your product, business model, and ecosystem. Okay, next, go to next slide. Another interesting concept is, suppose you have already defined your market, you have defined your product, your value proposition, segmentation, everything is defined now, and you want to go to the market with a marketing approach, marketing strategy. So I find this a little relevant, and maybe you'll find it relevant too. So there are 7 types of strategy that you can adopt when you are trying to market your service or product or solution. And not necessarily you need to do one type of this strategy. It is a mix. You can do all 7 or combination of all of them, depending on what product and service you are using. So these are something like this. Inbound lead, meaning your marketing strategy is based on what is your content marketing and how you want to drive this content into conversions of lead. Outbound strategy, outbound lead, meaning you have targeted customers and you want to reach to that targeted customers through an effort. So the target customer, you want to reach them. So that is the outbound strategy. Product led is where you entire marketing focus is based around the product. You are selling or you are marketing a product, and everything around the product is created or marketed. So that's how it is. Channel led is obvious, where you are creating a channel of distribution, channel resellers, agencies, like that. So if your product falls into that category or solution, you can think about that channel strategy. Nowadays, a lot of effort is coming specifically in this scenario. We see this ecosystem led and community led marketing. So because these are products and solutions where it's a new product and solution, customer might not know this, might not value as much in current situation. So here what you need to do is either you need to develop or market through the ecosystem that is there. You can partner through the ecosystem, market through the ecosystem, or you can create a community who will drive this. Your product will take this product. So you will create a community who will start using your concept or your market, and then this community will market yourself. So and then last one is event led or is a brand marketing. So you create your own brand and then market your brand. So these are 7 types of marketing strategy. Again, like I said, you may have to mix and match according to your product and solution that you're selling. So I think this is a useful framework to look at when we are doing this. Go to next. Next slide, please. Okay. Now we have covered in nutshell what is in sustainability and overall circularity. And then we also looked at some of the strategies that we can, build in while doing this, launching our product and services in the market, and also what some of the marketing strategy. But like I said, I have done some work in this field for the last 7-8 years, and some of my experience I'd like to share just before closing. So one of the experiences, though everybody's talk about sustainability as a whole, and everybody will agree that this is something is very important and must be done. But when you want to sell this, when you want to market this product, you will feel that it is nobody will give you high margins, or they'll position it as, either you do it at current cost or give me some good IRR, then only it'll take off. And I think everybody will face, at some point of time, you will face this as a stumble block. But within this space also, what we have realized that though once you have found your market, you will feel that most of the customer will be saying this, but there you will find a niche. You will find a customer which will definitely value your product, and that niche or that customer is your initial target within, I can say, sub-segment of whatever you have segmented initially. And that is what you need to find. So this is my experience has been working with this field. We can discuss if there is question, but this is one big area. You need to find the right niche target segment within the broader target or broader market segment that you have decided. Second point that I've realized is since this is not very viable proposition, and there are existing or competing existing product and services are there, to initially to pitch in, and as a startup, when you are starting very low and you don't have muscles, so what you need to do is you need to leverage current policies, government bodies, NGOs, even to extend corporate CSR, etc. So this is as a strategy. I'll also say that you should definitely look at how to leverage this at the initial period. Third experience is partnerships. I mean, this is the ecosystem game. Sustainability or circular, you may have one product in an entire ecosystem or in an entire supply chain. You need to partnership with the ecosystem, and if you can design, or if you can strategize well, where some of the partner in the ecosystem is also helping you, or also have some kind of symbiotic relationship, then it will be very easier for you to go ahead. And last 2 point, I would like to so whole circular ecosystem or these companies, basically most of the company will fall into the category where we are talking about taking some kind of waste and turning into some kind of product or solutions. So if that is the case, so what we have seen earlier was waste is a byproduct, or waste is something people were just, it is freely available. But nowadays we slowly realizing that waste is a gold where people are fighting for it. So when today we are at some place, you have identified a waste and we have identified a usage of that waste into a valuable product or solution, the first thing you need to do is you need to take control of the waste. By that, what I mean is you have to make sure that you have a moat around it, meaning you have to make this waste a sustainable input for you. So if you can create that, then you have created a good moat around that, and you will definitely have a value going forward. Otherwise, what will happen is there is a lot of competition for that waste will come, and even if you have a better product or solution, because of this, you will not be able to go ahead on this. So that is one of another experience. And last is on scalability. And whatever product and solution you are designing, it will have multiple applications. But you need to see at the initial stage which are the applications which are scalable in nature, and your go-to-market strategy should adopt this or focus initially on this first, rather than going into various applications, opening up various fronts. Because this scalability will give you, if you are going for a funding or if you are want to grow big, this is very essential. And so I find this approach, or when you are designing your strategy, look at scalability as major approach, and whether this strategy will be scalable in future or not. So with this, I think I'll stop here, and Open to all. Any questions or any clarification? Happy to answer.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful presentation. I see two questions on my chat box. First is Santosh Kumar. He says that he has developed natural fiber composite materials suitable for injection molding. He is finding difficulties to select which product should be launched first. Properties of the products are lightweight, dielectric strength, fire retardant, TGA verified. Yeah, he looks for a solution if you can help him.
Oh, so yes. So this composite materials can have a variety of applications, and like you said, there is a lot of good properties you have developed. But I can only tell you at this point this, because I don't know which are the applications you are looking at, and for each application currently what are the challenges or competing products are there, your competition is there, not there. At least I can, at this point I can tell you the approach, and then maybe we can discuss later to know the exact details, and then I can give you some insight on that. But from an approach perspective, if you look at all the application that your product can go through, you list out all the applications where these properties that you have said will be of benefit. So you list down all the application, and in each application, list out what is your competition. And then in each competition, each competition versus competition can be anything on price, on quality, and on availability, etc. And then look at what is the opportunity there, the market size and opportunity. And basis all these parameters, look at where you see a right fit for your product in terms of technology niche and differentiation, plus the scalable market.
Yeah.
And then you take that as an initial market or product to launch.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I'd just like to intervene. So this startup actually needed some mentorship regarding their product launch and how they should go. So, even as you suggested, so we can connect him with you later on after this session.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We can connect.
Regarding this.
So we are also working on PLA, PHA kind of a thing, where we're saying these are bioplastic, and every plastic can go into different application. All application has its own challenges, and there is a host of supply chain player. So you talk about the middle chain where they produce the the core of plastic, the blend, and then they make the plastic, and then it goes to the application. So you need to look at this supply chain also. Who are the players, and what what kind of understanding or insight can come, and we'll be happy to discuss.
Yes, they are making bamboo-based products, as it like they have
Okay.
developed their own strategies. So
Okay.
we'll definitely connect them to you. Like you'll be the very right person.
Sure.
Sure. So another question that is there is, circular economy practices contribute to achieving sustainability and alleviating the consequences of value chain disruptions and surging prices of energy and raw materials. While startups are increasingly recognized as powerful engine for innovation processes needed to support this transition, empirical studies on the selection and implementation of circular strategies among startups remain scarce. What is your take on it?
I let me first understand this question. So empirical studies on selection and implementation of. So I'm not able to understand the question properly, but if it is about we don't have much used case, then yes, my take is in India, at least the momentum has started. on this phase. But in India, at a policy level, I see a lot of effort and tremendous alignment on policy support to this cause. And you'll see from a government side, even from a corporate side, the efforts are there. So in going future, for example, I see a lot of corporates tying up with startups. I see a lot of government agencies, a lot of policies are putting up for this kind of a startup and in this particular space. So which suggests that in going forward, we'll see a lot of player coming and using and implementing such things. So that is for sure. It has not been done in a very large scale, but going forward, it will happen. So this is my sense as of now. And we are seeing it happening.
Another question is from Sabapatiji. He says he is producing biodegradable super absorbent sheets for sanitary pad converters. How to engage the conventional pad maker to use our materials in spite of high cost?
Maybe how to convince them or something like.
So that like I said, so this is a problem that will happen to all the players or startups in this space. Initially, your cost will be definitely high, and if you go to any substitute product customer, and he'll not buy it because he'll only look at the cost. So what we need to do is we need to look at a sub-segment within this customer segment which will really value this. A general sanitary pad replacement will not work. So we'll need to find a sub-segment or a niche segment where this concept or this is much valuable, and that you need to find out. And you can also put it into a cause. Like I said, marketing, there are 7 strategies. You can also create or market it through some kind of strategy where you are creating such awareness and movement, and through that only you are marketing. So look at these 2 things. Either you find a separate niche within that bigger segment, because normal will not work. Find a niche, and we can debate and we can do this brainstorm, but that is how you need to do it. And this is definitely will not work. And second, as a marketing strategy, create your own some kind of ecosystem play or some kind of awareness play. So that will only work.
Okay. So Dhanabalji asked, could you comment on the scope of producing organic chemicals from farm wastes?
Farm waste to organic chemicals. So yes, when you say organic chemicals, chemicals falls into very so big category. And today, any organic thing can be converted to chemicals, to the extent plastics at the higher end and multiple chemicals. So yes, it is possible. Only thing is what you are looking at, what product you are looking at to produce from which feedstock. You can discuss, but yes, it is possible, not an issue.
So what I gather, sir, is like, I just like to add one thing, like for every startup, they have to identify their own niche before like designing their strategy to the market, like go-to-market strategy. Like every startup is different.
Startup is different. For example, I make a, any example, we were taking a pad example. Suppose I make a pad and it is substitution is normal pad. So I know the normal pad market is this much crore, and so I have a demand or opportunity in play. But the day one, that will not happen. Day one, when you go and want to sell, you will say my prices, unless your prices and quality is good and price is less, it will be easy to sell. But most often though you can match the quality, but price most often will be higher. So it will not be a case where we'll go and replace that product so easily at the initial stage. So what we need to do is at initial stage, at least we need to look at, in the entire space, in the entire big market or customer segment, we need to find one or two or very niche player who are motivated by that concept. So you think of the entire women group and then think of which women group will be motivated by this concept and value more. And then start a campaign of onboarding them, and then start a momentum, and then how you have to build. And simultaneously, you will of course work with lowering your cost, and that will happen as your learning process. As you grow, it will happen. But initially, your entry strategy will be like that only. Otherwise, you will not be able to, or else you are dependent on subsidy to the government. So that's the reason I also said you need to also be dependent on government bodies, policies. So also try that aspect. There are many CSR causes. Look at corporate bodies who are using this as a concept. Which corporates are doing this CSR as a idea, and they may be able to help you solve this issue, give some kind of subsidy. Or so these are something you need to do till the time you make that break even, where your product is at the same price of the alternative non-circular product.
There's one last question. It says the case studies that you have described. Can you please describe? Question 1. Which startups apply to which circular strategies? What is the role of personal and company characteristics?
So first question is, so I have taken this philosophy from one, I find it useful. I have given the, reference also. If you are circulating this presentation, people can find the reference also. You can go through his presentations, his YouTube videos. So I find it useful. That's why I shared. So there you will find all the examples. Some of the examples I have given in my business model focus, but there is also product and ecosystem. So it is a free document. If you can go to his reference that I have shared, you will get that. So you will get that material free of cost, and you will get to know which are the player. But these are player mostly on international space. But you can relate to it. You can relate to your Indian peers, and you can find an Indian company which will fitting into this strategy. But most importantly, you need to apply this strategy in your product. So that is more important. And second question is, what is the role of personal and company characteristics? I frankly did not understand this question, but if it is about as a company, how you no, I will not try to answer because I have not understood this properly. Okay, so next.
Yeah, the next is, what are the comparative advantages and disadvantages of circular startups? Yes.
So advantages are 2-3 fronts. So one is the intent and the when you are in this space, the entire circular startup place, the objective for which we are doing this links to the entire human sustainability. So I think the amount of pleasure and satisfaction that will get from being in this space itself is very high. So that's I would say one. Second is, this space, at least for now, is a hot cake. So people will listen to you. People will definitely be attracted to you, listen to your ideas, and this is so there will be a momentum for you. Investment also, a lot of investment coming in this space. So that is another advantage. So these are some of the advantages. And disadvantages is, I think it is very difficult to crack the code. And specifically, like I said, initial days, getting the first order or making the product suitable or quality-wise, price-wise point, scalability, So these are some of the challenges. Very difficult initially to make it scalable and grow.
One other question that we have, Santosh asks again. He's asking how to approach ministry like Aviation Food Corporations of India to get a trial order by mentioning carbon locking, circular economy, natural resources, and environment-friendly products.
I think there is no pathway to do this. So this is your networking skill, frankly, and but you can still give you more credit, and it will be more credible. If you don't have connect, this will help. And if you have connect, leverage your connect, and that's what in this startup you need to do a lot of networking. And network will help. And these people, at least I find, they listen to it, and though they will not do a personal favor, but at least at this point, every ministry, every department in the ministry, they are very professional and they are listening to all these ideas and solutions. So at least if you directly reach to the ministry also, you will get this. But if you are, and there is no prescribed method to do or reach this.
And one last question that we will take now. So Dhanabalji is asking that he has recently read an article about Praj Industries ethanol production technology from Economic Times and supportive government policy to mix ethanol to fuels to an extent of 30%. He's asking that can we expect 100% ethanol fueled vehicles in near future? Can any startup think of building such engines? Can ethanol cost be expected to go southward? Does
so this is this is where we work. Our company works a lot. So ethanol, from a policy perspective, we are looking at policy. Now it is 20%, but government is open to looking at 25-30%. At the same time, already we have looked at flex engines, flex vehicles. There are few already companies already showcase the TVS Motor, for example. They have showcased their bike on flex fuel. This technology is not new in Brazil. In last 25 years, their economy is on flex fuels. So technology already exists in a world space, but if you want to build technology on flex fuel, you can use, you can build this technology, but be aware that unless government do something to stop the foreign players to come in, because it is so established in Brazil and other market, the last 25 years these vehicles are operating. So once this is opened up, you will have a lot of competition from their side. They'll start pouring, and even our bike companies, they'll do a partnership and then they'll have a ready-made solution. So apart from, you need to see, so flex fuel will come. If you're asking whether ethanol, what is the future of ethanol? So I see a very bright future of ethanol. Little blending will come, and then flex fuel policy will also come in near future. So that is for sure. Ethanol price going down, I'll say that it will be competitive with respect to gasoline or petrol. So that will not be a constraint. People will use ethanol. That government will do from a policy perspective, so that ethanol will be used in flex fuel. Now, with this background information, if you want to play in this space, you need to think of all this aspect like competition and what is your strength, what new thing you can do, that you need to think of.
Thank you, sir, for taking up so many questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Rashmi, so I'd like to share with everyone that one of our incubatees, the company named BuyHemp Private Limited, is taking mentoring from Devadatta sir. And she says that thank you so much for such an insightful session. Taking charge of the waste is one thing that you have always taught us as a mentor and helping us in this journey. Noting it down again, thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
thanks, Rashmi, for the nice words. Riddhi, do you have anything to say?
I'd just like to mention, like as Dr. Rashmi, she also deals in biodegradable products. So any startup who is looking for mentoring in that area, sir will be the best person to take us on a mentor. So I'd like everyone, if anyone is interested, to like contact us for that. And thank you, sir, for such a nice session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vatsala and
Yes, thank
Riddhi
you
and all
so
the
much.
participants. And I would love to have a one-on-one or interactive session, but nonetheless, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Have a great